By the time you're 45, most men have already lost the one thing that made them magnetic, and they don't even know it's gone. She'll clock it in the first 10 minutes of meeting you. The over explaining, the need for approval, the flinch when things don't go your way. She'll decide who you are before you've said a word. I'm about to tell you everything. I almost didn't make this video. Stoicism gets dismissed as cold or outdated, something for dead Roman senators, not modern men trying to build a life, a marriage, a legacy. But here's what nobody tells you. A study out of the University of Pennsylvania's Positive Psychology Center found that men who practiced emotional regulation techniques rooted in Stoic philosophy reported a 37% increase in perceived attractiveness and leadership presence from peers and partners, compared to men who defaulted to reactive emotional expression. That's not a coincidence, that's a code. And today I'm breaking it. This video is going to give you 7 Stoic principles every man over 40 needs to master, not just to feel better, but to become the kind of man people orbit around without knowing why. We're counting down from 7 to 1. But pay close attention to principle 3. It's the one most men actively resist, and it's the one that changes everything. I'll tell you why when we get there. Let's begin. Master the art of the pause. Picture this. Your business partner blindsides you in a meeting, or your wife brings up something painful at dinner. Your jaw tightens. Words are already loading. The wrong instinct is to respond instantly, to defend, correct, or explain yourself in real time, because silence feels like losing. But what people actually crave, cinematically speaking, is watching a man absorb a blow and not flinch. The 2-second pause before he speaks, the stillness that says, I am not being controlled by this moment. Psychologist William Irvine, author of A Guide to the Good Life, points to Stoic cognitive distancing, the practice of inserting space between stimulus and response, as the single most trainable trait separating reactive men from respected ones. She will never tell you this directly, because naming it would feel like admitting she's testing you. Nobody announces, I'm watching how you handle pressure. They just watch. Action step. Next time you feel the urge to respond immediately, count to 3 in your head before you speak. Every time. Punchline. The man who pauses is never the man who's afraid. Stop explaining yourself. Picture this. You make a decision. Skip a family event, decline an invitation, change a plan. And you feel the itch to justify it with 3 paragraphs of reasoning. The wrong instinct is over-explaining, because you think more words equal more understanding. What people actually respond to is a man whose decisions don't require a defense committee. Calm, final, non-negotiable, but never harsh. Epictetus, the freed Roman slave turned philosopher, built his entire framework on the dichotomy of control. You don't control others' opinions of your choices, only the choices themselves. Modern communication researchers cite this same principle as reducing perceived anxiety in speech by nearly a third. Nobody will ever ask you to stop over-explaining. They'll just quietly stop taking your explanations seriously. Action step. Next time you catch yourself justifying a decision past one sentence, stop. Let the silence sit. Punchline. Confidence doesn't need footnotes. Detach from the outcome. Picture this. You're pursuing a promotion, a deal, or even just a second date, and you can feel yourself gripping too tight, checking your phone, replaying the conversation. The wrong instinct is to chase harder when you sense things slipping, more texts, more effort, more visible desperation. What people are actually drawn to is the opposite. A man who wants the outcome but isn't destroyed by its absence. That quiet, magnetic indifference. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations that the wise man acts as duty requires without concerning himself whether he is warm or cold, whether dying or doing something else. That's not apathy, that's detachment as power. She will never say your neediness is showing. She'll just feel the temperature drop and pull away without explanation. Action step. Pick one outcome you're currently white knuckling. Consciously loosen your grip on it today, take the next action, then let go of the result. Punchline. The moment you stop needing it is the moment it starts wanting you. Control your body before you control your mind. Picture this. Tension rises, an argument, a setback, a public embarrassment, and your shoulders climb to your ears, your breath goes shallow, your voice pitches up. The wrong instinct is to think you can mentally calm down while your body is still screaming alarm. What people crave is presence. A man whose physical stillness signals safety, the kind of grounded energy that makes a room exhale. Behavioral researcher and author Amy Cuddy's work on physiological state and perceived dominance found that posture and breath control directly shift how in command a person is perceived to be, often within seconds, before a word is spoken. Nobody will ever tell you your body language is giving away your anxiety. They'll just quietly recalibrate how much they trust you. Action step. In your next tense moment, drop your shoulders, slow your exhale to twice the length of your inhale, and let your voice settle low before speaking. Punchline. Command the body and the room follows. Let go of the need to be understood. This is the one I warned you about. Picture this. Someone misjudges you, a colleague, an ex, even your own kid, and it eats at you for days. You rehearse the speech that would finally make them see the truth. The wrong instinct is to chase clarity, to correct the record, to need the world to see you accurately. What people are actually drawn to, though, is a man who's made peace with being misunderstood, because that peace radiates as unshakable self-possession. It's the rarest kind of magnetism there is. The Stoics called this ataraxia, a state of untroubled equanimity. Modern Stoic teacher Ryan Holiday, in The Obstacle is the Way, argues that the craving to be understood is often just ego wearing the mask of justice. She will never admit that watching you release this need is what draws her closer, because admitting it would mean admitting she was testing your composure in the first place. Most men fail this test without ever knowing it was happening. Action step. The next time someone misreads your intentions, resist the urge to correct them, just once. Notice how it feels to let it go uncorrected. Punchline. The man who needs no verdict has already won the trial. Treat setbacks as curriculum, not catastrophe. Picture this. A deal falls through, a relationship ends, your plans collapse overnight. The wrong instinct is to spiral into, why me? To treat the setback as evidence of a flawed life. What people actually find compelling is a man who treats hardship like tuition, expensive but educational. Someone who narrates his own failures with dry humor instead of despair. Seneca wrote extensively to his friend Lucilius that difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body, a line modern resilience researchers still cite as foundational to post-traumatic growth theory. Nobody will ever say, I respect how you handled that disaster out loud. They'll just quietly trust you with bigger things because of it. Action step, name your last major setback out loud as a lesson, not a loss. Literally reframe the language you use to describe it. Punchline, pain is just tuition for the man who's paying attention. Master yourself before you try to master anything else. Picture this, the promotion, the partner, the respect you want, all of it is downstream of one thing, whether you can govern your own impulses first. The wrong instinct is to chase external wins, status, money, attention, believing they'll fix the internal chaos. What people are actually responding to, at the deepest level, is a man who is sovereign, who doesn't need external validation because he's already in command of himself. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote privately, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Modern leadership studies consistently link internal locus of control to both career advancement and relationship satisfaction. She will never ask you to work on yourself first. She'll simply notice, without saying a word, whether you already have. Action step. Pick one bad habit or impulse you've been avoiding. Confront it tonight, not tomorrow. Punchline. Master yourself, and everything else becomes easier to master. That's all 7. Pause, silence, detachment, presence, letting go of the need to be understood, reframing pain, mastering yourself first. Small principles, but stacked together, they rebuild the entire foundation of how a man moves through the world. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of men who'll watch a video like this and change nothing by tomorrow morning. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. Pick one principle, just one, and apply it the next time you feel that old reactive pull rising in your chest. But mastering yourself internally is only half the equation. Because even the most composed, stoic man can still make one specific mistake that undoes all of it in a single conversation. And in the next video, I'm breaking down the exact phrase pattern that instantly signals low value, no matter how calm you